following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Following the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
Our brains are wired for connection, but trauma rewires them for protection. That's why healthy relationships are difficult for wounded people. Do these words speak to you? Trauma can come from many difficult sources, and sometimes this includes those closest to you, your family. Negative experiences you had growing up, or even heavy responsibilities and expectations placed on you throughout your childhood can often be too difficult to forget. Psychologists call these adverse childhood experiences, potentially traumatic events that can happen from a child's birth until they reach adulthood. According to Centers for Disease and Prevention, these events are linked to chronic health problems, mental illnesses, and substance use problems in adolescence and adulthood. So even as you grow up and replace the family you were born into with the family you choose for yourself, it's still hard to let go of the trauma. It seems as if the ghosts of your past come alive and try to make it all about them once again. And even if you know in your heart that your partner is not the parent who hurt you, it may not help. What kinds of trauma can one experience through their lives, and how do these traumas impact their romantic relationships? Let's explore 4 types of trauma and their effects on your romantic life. Rejection trauma. Let's start with the trauma of being rejected. Rejection trauma is born in a home where we're made to feel like we don't matter. Try to think back into your childhood. Were you always pushed away? Do you feel like you're not worthy of your parents' time? If instead of love and warmth you felt rejected, you may have carried that feeling with you. And today, you might find yourself fearing rejection all over again. Only this time you may feel rejected by your romantic partner. A 2015 research paper published in Dialogues in Clinical Neuroscience examined emotions that occur when people perceive rejection in their relationships. According to researchers, rejection trauma could make you feel hurt, jealous, lonely, ashamed, guilty, socially anxious, and embarrassed. All of these emotions can later negatively impact your relationship.
Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what it is. The VOR. The Voice of Reason is live on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Monday, the 21st of August. I got to shout out my granddaughter. She turned 5 today. Yeah. I'm sorry. But you already know what I got to do. I got business to take care of. And every Monday, I come in here with a heater, a slapper of a topic to get us thinking deeper about intimate relationships. You've heard me say it a million times. Relationships are not just Netflix and chill. Relationships are inherently spiritual. There are lessons to be learned about oneself in relationship. Even fear, according to the great Krishnamurti, is in relationship to something. It can't exist in a vacuum. Oh, I don't want to relive the past. Fear is in relation to the past. Oh, I wish this turns out great. Fear is in relationship with the future. The one thing fear cannot be in relationship with is the present, unless you consent. Oh, Lord. Tonight's topic. We got a heater. Oh, boy, we've got a heater. Can wounds, unhealed wounds, trauma lead to wisdom? How to effectively deal with trauma with my special guest. My homeboy is in the building. Listen, you want to get to your phone lines tonight. If you're going through it and you need some help, I have one of the most profound, effective, efficient, professional, insightful, inspiring therapists in the game today with over 40, 50 years of experience. Am I giving him too many years? It doesn't matter. I'm going to give him 60 years of experience. My friend, Dr. Alan Berger, PhD. What up?
Hey, the doctor's in the house, though. The doctor's in the house.
The doctor is in the house. Now, you already know how I do this. I ask a bunch of questions, and then I'm going to get out of your way, Doc, because I need to understand trauma. I need to understand pain. I need to understand the purpose of it. Is there a purpose for trauma? Can wounds lead to wisdom? How does the brain's response to trauma contribute to the challenges of overcoming its effects? What role does early childhood life experiences play in shaping an individual's ability to cope with and heal from trauma? Do most people just never heal their trauma? They just live their life and the trauma gets to live with them rent-free? How can the psychological and philosophical imprints of trauma make it difficult to fully process and move forward? The psychological effects, the physiological effects. How can that make it, these imprints make it very difficult to move forward? Are there certain types of trauma that tend to be more resistant to healing than others? What factors contribute to this? Does every relationship suffer from trauma? Dr. Berger, we need help, brother. We need help. How do we heal trauma? What is its purpose? Does it have a purpose?
Well, God, so listen, all of your questions, we could spend a show on each and every question you had, man. I mean, come on now. Now, yeah, you're giving me a tall order here. I don't know if I can handle it.
Come
man.
on, yes, you can.
I know. Listen. This is what we want to start with this whole thing, is that we want to make. We really don't want to get stuck with what I would call the DSM-5's definition of trauma, because what they say is that trauma, they just want to pigeonhole trauma to say it's an unusual experience, and therefore it's we will call that trauma.
Mm.
But you and I know that's too narrow a definition, man. That's pedantic.
Right.
We know that people suffer trauma as part of what goes on in their life, and to say that that's a normal part of experience, I think is ridiculous.
Mm.
You know, so let's look at two things here. Just let's look at adverse childhood experiences, because I love that term, ACE, right?
ACEs.
Adverse
Yeah.
child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that term has got us all to think about things in a different way. Now, what is an adverse childhood experience? Well, let's look at two dimensions that happen in childhood. One is what's going on, is the climate in your family, does it make you feel safe and emotionally secure?
Mm.
Now, just think about that. Now, if one doesn't feel safe, one cannot grow well.
Mm.
People grow when they feel safe in life. And now this has so many ramifications in so many directions, right? In terms of all the understanding we have now of race, right? And what the impact of that has on the prejudice and the racism that we see in our culture. How do you feel safe in that scene?
Right.
Well, you don't, man. I mean, the bottom line is you don't. How do you feel safe if you've got an alcoholic father that you don't know what condition he's going to be in when he walks in the door?
Mm.
Or if you got a mother that's alcoholic and you walk in and she's passed out on the couch and you're walking in with your friends after school.
Wow.
Do you feel safe then?
No.
Of course not,
No.
right? So there's so many different experiences that happen in our life that contribute to this feeling of being unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem with this is if I haven't experienced safety and if I haven't experienced people helping me feel safe, how can I create safety later on in my life? Right? We do what we learn, so we know that. You know, I end up being able to manifest the ways that I've been treated in my life. And if nobody made me feel safe, I'm not going to know how to make myself feel safe. And if I don't know how to make myself feel safe, and I'm in a relationship with you, you can rest assured, right, that I am not going to make you feel safe either.
Hey, you know what's so heavy about what you're saying right now? This is for people, like for instance, he's talking about, you know, everybody has some trauma somewhere. There's some trauma somewhere. There's something, right? But imagine how much better relationships would be if we had a safety boot camp for little boys.
Wow.
Teaching young men how to make women safe. Men, listen, you hear it like I hear it. Many women come to me and say they don't feel safe around men. I'm thinking maybe that's because we're socialized a certain way. Men have lost the art of making women feel comfortable and safe. Now, you could say a lot of those men are suffering from some type of childhood trauma. You could say a lot of those women are suffering from childhood trauma. But I think we head it off at the pass if we create a kind of workshop where we're teaching young boys, right, how to relax, how not to be too aggressive, how not to be too pushy and demanding of women. I think it would benefit in terms of how the young ladies would react to young men as they come up. I think right now, many women have, I think, a legitimate fear of men. What are your thoughts?
No, listen, it's what you're saying about that, creating this safety, boot camp for young boys. The way that we could also think about it, so, is each man needs to be initiated into manhood.
Whoop, let's go. Talk to me. Let's go.
See that's what we're talking about, because what you are talking about is the men that act that way are men that have not been initiated into manhood. They still have a very boyish idea of what it means to be a man. And for them, it means power over. Right? Being a man means conquering, means winning, means having power over in a situation. So how do you dance with a woman and respect a woman and be in relationship with a woman that you love if it's all about winning all the time, if it's all about being right. How can love exist in that atmosphere, though? It can't, can it?
It can't. It simply can't.
It can't. It just can't, man. And we've got to understand that. You know, a lot of times, and you and I have seen this, and we talk about this a lot. And you know what? I think we're going to do a safety boot camp for people.
How about it?
We're going to get people together, and we're going to help them learn how to create safety for themselves, and if they're in a relationship, how to create safety in that relationship. That's what we need to be doing in this world, because we need to feel safe, man.
Yeah.
When people feel safe, they can grow, they can flourish, they can thrive, they can be what they can be.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the voice of reason and his good friend, Dr. Alan Berger, author of, you already know, Emotional Sobriety, 12 Steps to Emotional Sobriety. Go get the book right now. Go get it. Let's cash mob him. Everybody go to Amazon.com and purchase these works from my friend Alan Berger. Tonight's topic: can wounds lead to wisdom? How to effectively deal with trauma. Alan, I have something I want you to think about before we go to break here. Before we go forward, I want you to answer this on the other side. I'm going to read a quote, and I want to get your thoughts on this quote. There are wounds that never show on the body that are deeper and more hurtful than anything that bleeds. Laurel K. Hamilton. When we come forward, we'll get the good doc's thought on that quote.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and it's powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community, is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event, or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
I'm Dominique DePrima. We can all fall into the trap of mindlessly spending sometimes. I know I do it. But one tip for staying on track is when you have an impromptu purchase that comes up, Try making a habit of taking a quick look at your bank account balance before you buy it. It's not just about seeing how much you have in your checking account. Just looking at your account might put the urge to make that impulse purchase into perspective and help you make better choices that'll benefit you for the long term. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives can help support you in reaching them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're in the middle of Ask Yee. Hello, who's this?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Brittany.
Hey, is it me you're looking for?
Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
Right. What's your question for Yee?
So, first of all, good morning, Angela, Envy, and Charlamagne.
Good morning.
Yee, my question for you is, how can I prevent my past relationship traumas from ruining something that I'm in right now that's really, really beautiful? Like, if relationship PTSD was a thing, I have it.
I'm sure you do. A lot of us have that PTSD from past relationships. We all do. The fact that you can identify that and want to work on it is already a great sign. So I would really suggest, have you ever done or gotten any type of like therapy or just kind of worked through those issues?
Yes. I've actually been in therapy for about a year now.
Okay.
And I thought everything was, I thought I was on the up and up. However, this man that I've been with for about 9 months now has given me no reason to, not trust him. But I still have those moments when I want to just wig out.
You know what? These are the things that I have to tell myself, too, because I had some past relationship trauma as well, right? So some things, and I've said this before, but I do lead with giving people the benefit of the doubt and giving them trust until they prove me wrong. I know some people do the opposite, but you don't, like you said, want to ruin something that's going really well because of your past relationships. And I never want to give people who don't.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason live on KBLA Talk 1580. Of course, that was a clip from The Breakfast Club. You had Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God, and they were talking about trauma. A caller called in, wanted to know, how do I manage this trauma? When we came forward, we've now come full circle. I asked the great Dr. Alan Berger a great question, and I wanted to get his thoughts on it. And that quote was, "There are wounds that never show on the body that are deeper and more hurtful than anything that bleeds." That quote is from Laurel K. Hamilton. Doc, what are your thoughts on that particular quote?
Well, I think truer words have never been said, Zoe. I mean, those emotional, I even call them spiritual wounds. Those spiritual wounds, man, they cut deeper than the bone. I mean, they cut to our souls, man. They cut to how we experience ourselves in this world. And how we experience ourselves in this world is going to be largely based on how we were experienced in this world. I'll say that again. How we experience ourselves in this world is going to be largely based on how we were experienced. So if you had a parent that was giving you all these negative messages. You're a loser. You're never going to make anything of yourself. You're selfish. You're self-centered. You're stupid. I mean, these start to define our self-concept.
Right.
And so we go through our whole life. And, you know, even that other person that was talking about the trust in that little clip that you had that was going on. Well, some of what's going on for her is her own insecurity, right? Is that she doesn't believe that she is worthy of being loved. And this is a big deal, man. If I'm not experienced as lovable, how can I experience myself as being lovable and worthy of love? And then when I enter a relationship, what am I going to imagine is going to happen? Well, this person's going to realize that I'm not worthy of it. So now I'm expecting this thing to fall apart around me. We call it happiness anxiety, Zoe. We get anxious about being happiness. About being happy.
Anxiety? What? Please.
Yeah, my God.
Give
if
us the
this is
definition.
Good, it can't last. You know?
It's too good to be truism?
It's too good to be true, man. If this is good, it's going to fall apart. We're just waiting for that moment. Oh, yeah, they're going to do it. They're going to get me. I know it's going to happen. Here it comes.
Wow.
Happiness anxiety.
So now I got to hit you with this. Since you hit me with that, I got to hit you with another one. You got to give us your thought on this quote right here by Rick Warren. He says, if you want to find your purpose in life, find your wound. What are your thoughts?
Well, he's heading in the right direction. But what you have to do is you have to turn that into a sacred wound. You just can't find your wound. You've got to convert it into a sacred wound, which means that you've done the work, that you've integrated the experience, that you've turned that into something that is informing you and helping you become what you can be. You see, when we do that, then it becomes a sacred wound. A great model of that is people in Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous that are in recovery, and that they take what they've learned about their addiction and now they pass it on to someone. You see, they've taken their addiction and they've made it into a sacred wound.
The wound now has a spiritual purpose. It's almost like an heirloom. It's something that is to be cherished and something to be taken care of, something to be nurtured, something to be explored, looked into. Many people are afraid to do that, Doc. Why is that?
Well, because you got to be willing to face your pain, Zoe. This is the hard thing, man. You and I know, we've worked with so many people, is that this is a pain-phobic society. We don't want to feel pain, man. We want to feel better right now. You know, I want that. I want to feel okay right now. I don't want to do the work. I don't want to have to sit and cry. I don't want to have to beat a pillow. I don't want to have to, you know, open up my heart and scream and you know, let snot run down my nose and all those things, man. I just want to. Don't you have a quick fix? Can't you just give me a word and then I can jump? You know, this is so rampant.
Doc, we gotta take this quick pause. Pause for the cause, because he's cooking right now. Lord have mercy, Dr. Berger is cooking. Ain't enough meat on the bone. When we come forward, more from Dr. Alan Berger.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. No arrests have been made so far connected to the Georgia election interference investigation in Fulton County, Georgia. It's been a week since racketeering indictments were brought down against former President Trump and 18 co-defendants. Black District Attorney Fani Willis has given everyone a deadline of this Friday to surrender. Meantime, former President Trump's bond in that Georgia election case is set for $200,000. Trump's lawyers met with the Fulton County District Attorney's office today to negotiate terms of his bond and release. Officials at a Texas HBCU near Houston say heat exhaustion is the main reason for more than 36 students being hospitalized after a school event. Emergency medical professionals were called to Prairie View A&M University during the final night of Panther Camp activities for new students. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles lets you choose from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
The Dell Technologies Back to School event is on, with deals on top tech for class, hobbies, and more. Now, when you buy, you support a cause. With every eligible purchase, Dell will donate to UNICEF in support of GIGA, a UNICEF ITU global initiative to connect schools across the globe to the internet. Accidental damage protection included. Get rare deals on select laptops and desktops powered by the latest Intel Core processors. Save now at Dell.com/deals. UNICEF does not endorse any company, brand, product, or service.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Somebody.
Everyone at some point leaves relationships, jobs, and friendships. Sometimes it ends up being a blessing because they weren't right for us anyway. But what if you can't move on or get over it? What gives? Is this just you not being able to get it together? Or is there something a little more sinister at play? Unhealed relationship trauma is far deeper than you being stressed or relationship challenged. It's being unable to move on because of your previous relationship. Before we begin, we want to let you know the goal of this video is to help you understand relationship trauma and possibly how this may apply to you. With that being said, here are 7 signs you may have unhealed relationship trauma. 1. Annoying physical symptoms. Do you feel completely drained after a long-term relationship ended? A study shows unresolved trauma can make normal aches and pains worse. This seems to stem from trauma putting your body on constant high alert, which is due to the activation of your physiological fight, flight, or freeze response. A toxic relationship is stressful for your mind and body. Your body's stress response was only meant to last for a short amount of time, but as several experts have noted, putting your body under stress for long periods of time can lead to increased inflammation, arthritis, heart attacks, weakened immune systems, and chronic pain. 2. Your body and mind feel disconnected. Since you and your ex broke up, do people tell you that you have your head in the clouds? Have you started feeling like your life was some movie you were watching from the outside when the relationship started getting bad? These are features of disassociation, or feeling detached from reality. A study noted people who seek help from trauma often report feelings of disassociation. Disassociation involves the disruption of your perceptions, memory, processing, and emotions. These include acting or feeling as though a traumatic event is still occurring. 3. Your brain works differently. After ending a toxic or traumatic relationship, did you notice getting a lot of brain fog, forgetfulness, or racing thoughts?
Ladies and gentlemen, do wounds lead to wisdom? The voice of reason is back in the building, of course, with his good friend and special guest, Dr. Alan Berger, man. Hey, listen, when I tell you Berger is the real deal, he was cooking when we came forward, and now we've come full circle. I want to get him right back in the pocket. Talk to me, Dr. Berger. Let me just ask this, because what I believe you're in this for and what I'm in it for is to change how we view intimate relationships. I think we take intimate relationships far too lightly. You mentioned something about a wound being a spiritual wound. And whenever whenever the term spiritual is added, spirituality, something that is spirit-based, I'm already locked into meaning. I'm locked into purpose. And so many people, because of Carl Jung's famous statement, when he said people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid looking at themselves, I think so many people are in the actual act of running away from their gifts. If in fact the wound contains a seed to your purpose, a seed to you leveling up, so many people would rather walk away because it's painful. How do we get around that, Doc?
Well, Zoe, look, the question is so powerful, right? And all the things you're saying about it. How do we use our experience, and especially our painful experiences, and in this case, our traumatic experiences, to help us take the next step in our development? You see, that's, I think, the important question here. And listen, one answer to this is, and it's a simple one, it's that we're ignorant. We just don't know how. Nobody's ever taught us how to take something, because in our culture, we only want success, right? We want to win. Those are the kinds of things. But nobody ever tells us, how do you sit with disappointment? How do you sit with your pain? How do you sit with that trauma and work with it in such a way as to be able to integrate it to such a degree that you can level up, as you just said? And you see, what you and I know to be the case is that in every experience, especially those that are traumatic and painful, there's a potential that, if we know how to tap, can be an incredible impetus to our development and growth.
Even in the face of the fear, because I believe once we overcome the fear, we can go on that journey, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you have to go through that. You're right. And you know the way that people do it? Don't try to step over your fear. Own it. And this is what people don't want to say. If I say something like, I am so afraid, I don't want to open that door because I don't want to look what's behind it, that's the beginning of change. It's not opening the door. It's declaring that you don't want it opened. And this is what people don't understand, is they just want to get the door open. But you got to first start, and you got to own and claim that I don't want to open that door. I don't want to see what's behind it. I'm too frightened. Acceptance is the prerequisite to change.
Acceptance is the prerequisite to change. And I know so many people don't want to hear it put that way, but that's how we're going to put it, and that's how we're going to stamp it. There's a young lady in my chat room. I want her to call in right now. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. Atala Phillips. She writes, "This is facts. We consume people instead of relating to them." Now, this takes me back to the original statement you made when you said we are all victims of victims. Can you talk to me about this, the consuming of people and the non-relating to people, and how victims of victims continue to perpetuate themselves in our family relationships, business relationships, all the whole nine? Talk to me about that.
Well, all right. So this is what we're going to really tie something together here now. And so we're going to look at what happens when we have a trauma. What happens when we have an experience in our childhood that either threatens our emotional security or threatens our self-acceptance? See, what we do to deal with that, to ensure our existence, though, is we now require and fantasize that our future will reverse the experience of our past. And if we get more specific, it means that my partner, whoever that's going to be, will come in and give me everything that I didn't get. And so now we don't relate to them as who they are. We're looking at what they're going to do for us. And we become so dependent on how they are with us because we're desperate. We want these wounds healed, and we think they hold the key. So we don't see them as they are. We see them as we need them to be. That's the consumption right there.
So what I'm getting here, wounds are bidirectional in terms of choice. You can either choose to be the self-savior or the victimized, wounded, broken person that this particular wound or traumatic event presented to you. You can. It's a choice still, right?
Yeah. Well, and what we're also saying is it's unidirectional until I understand how this wound is informing my relationship with my partner. I'm not seeing my partner for who they are. I'm seeing them in terms of who I want them to be. I see them as a source of my self-esteem. I see them as a source of my redemption. I see them as a source of my healing.
You just broke my heart, Doc. You just broke my heart.
I'm sorry, sir.
You just broke my heart, man. And I'm going to tell you why.
I hate breaking your heart.
I'm going to tell you why. You're basically telling me, Alan, that people who don't heal their wounds get put into this default taker position.
Yeah, you got it, man. That's it.
Gosh.
That's it, man. That's exactly what happens.
Stay with me, Alan. When we come forward, Dr. Berger is going to keep slapping you upside the dome piece. Sean from Oakland, don't you hang up. When we come forward, I'm coming to you as well.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is everyday.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Attention taxpayers. Ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason and his legendary playlist. When was the last time you heard Here We Go by Portrait? Come on. Fire record. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason is on fire tonight. We're asking the question, can wounds lead to wisdom? One of my good friends is on the line right now, Dr. Alan Berger. Dr. Alan Berger and myself, we're about to do a retreat. Dr. Allen, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I'm really excited, so that you and I are going to be planning a retreat here, probably right after the first of the year, where we're going to get some people together and help them, you know, become aware of themselves, become aware of these issues, and most importantly, discover new possibilities for their life. That's what we're interested in, is giving people a lot of hope that you can work with these things, you can struggle with these things, you can integrate what they're teaching you and make a better life for yourself.
I love it, brother. I love it. We're going to cook come 2024.
Yes, we are.
We're going to cook. Yo,
we are.
It's going to be epic.
And
Doc,
please, if you're interested in, and send Zoe or me a note, and we'll make sure you're on the mailing list.
There you go. I love to hear it. Hey, Doc, would you like to talk to some callers?
Yes, let's do that. So I love doing that.
Here we go. Sean from Oakland, California. Get in here.
Yeah. Hey, what a wonderful interview. What a wonderful show. You know, when you said emotional trust and safety, and I'll go one more, physical trust and safety. As children, right? I mean, when we are like trying to exist in this world, right? We are going to be, you know, absorbing all of that. And so, yes, there's nothing, in my opinion, more important than emotional trust and safety and physical trust and safety from the point of view of your primary guide. If it's your parents or your grandparents or whomever ends up spending the most time with you, that you have that. You have that to always go back to, you know, and yes, a lot of us don't have that. And so I agree that, you know, when those wounds get out into the real world and we're all, you know, navigating it, but let's always go back to this. If you're still dealing with your own wounds, let's make sure to provide emotional safety and trust and physical safety and trust to all those people that we're guiding.
Right on, man. Right on. And I love that you brought in the physical part, man. That was great, man. Thank you.
We appreciate
thank you, man. This is a wonderful show.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for always calling in, man. We appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call us at 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines right now. Let me get back to it. The intricate nature of trauma casts a very long shadow over all of those who experience it, often making the journey towards healing a complex and daunting endeavor. At the heart of this challenge lies the brain's intricate response to trauma, a response shaped by evolution to safeguard survival, but which can impede the path to recovery. So the brain it keeps it simple. It cuts the fat. We're in danger, we go into survival mode. But survival mode is not a mode you want to stay in, because that can impede your pathway to recovery. Now, when confronted with a traumatic event, the brain instinctively triggers the fight or flight response, or freeze, right? An ancient survival mechanism designed to mobilize the body for action in the face of danger. While this response is essential for immediate safety, it can inadvertently hinder long-term healing. The release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, and they can lead to hyperarousal, hypervigilance, and a heightened sensitivity to the potential threats that may or may not exist right now. So it seems to me that trauma is very powerful if it doesn't have a manager. Give me some tips, Doc, on how to become an effective trauma manager.
Well, I'll do that, but I want to elaborate a little bit something, Zoe, because what you're saying is so important about what the brain does. But the brain, what also happens, and this is really important, is that we develop a characterological response to what's going on in the brain, meaning that we have to shape our personality in a way that's going to, in the best possible way we have available to us, that's going to create that safety and security. So let's say I was hurt and there was nobody there for me. I will become self-reliant to try to create that sense of safety in the world. That becomes a characterological thing. And in fact, and this is what Wilhelm Reich, one of Freud's disciples, discovered. He says every trauma turns into a characterological adaptation. And that adaptation has to be worked with and understood, because what you did is you put some armoring on. And you're not going to change this until you can start to take the armor off.
Wait, this is so heavy. So when you say characterological, the moment you said that, my mind went right to John Bowlby, because it sounded like you described a dismissive avoidant.
There you go. Yep.
Do you see? Like,
there you go.
Oh, that's heavy, bro. That's heavy. Are we saying the attachment styles are characterological styles?
Yeah, that's right. That's one way we can describe them. They're armored. They're armoring. See, what we're doing is we're trying to armor ourselves so that we protect ourselves, because we don't want to continue to experience that trauma. We have to ensure our existence. We know that's the case. That drive is so powerful. And so what we say is that those adaptations that are made to ensure our existence.
Oh my!
That we're going to save as much of ourselves as we can.
Ooh. Oh, when we come forward, our number 2 is going to be even hotter. I can't believe he just said the attachment styles are characterological. That's a character. You are your attachment style. That isn't even the real you. When we come forward, more from Dr. Alan Berger.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. No arrests have been made so far connected to the Georgia election interference investigation in Fulton County, Georgia. It's been a week since racketeering indictments were brought down against former President Trump and 18 co-defendants. Black District Attorney Fani Willis has given everyone a